Season 36, war number 3, we are up against GT40, and once again we are taking this war pretty easy. We aren't boosting much and we're just experimenting. Today my team is Omega Sentinel, Kitty Pryde and Tigra. I'm taking Path 5 in Section 1, Path 9 in Section 2, King Groot and Mojo mini-bosses, as well as a Sersi boss with Tigra. I will also be taking 4 shared fights: Rintrah, Nova, Ebony and a Longshot. Up first is this America Chavez on Ebb and Flow knockdown, and I'm gonna be taking her with Kitty Pryde. At this point I've taken this fight many times before, so there's not really anything new to mention. Just gonna be knocking her down, building up my prowess so I can keep phasing, and that's basically all there is to this fight. Normally I would be running the recoil masteries here, but I have a Tigra fight coming up soon, so I just wanted to avoid having to switch my masteries so often. I keep phasing her specials instead of trying to dex them, because I wanna avoid triggering dexterity. These guys always plays with max mystic dispersion, so I would just be here all day baiting specials. I messed up my first special 2 here, which isn't really that surprising considering I've been playing very badly these past few wars, so you can expect to see more mistakes coming up later. One thing I realized midway through this fight is that I shouldn't be phasing her specials, and I shouldn't be dexing them either. If I dash at her before her special would hit me, I can use my phasing to completely block the damage, and that doesn't cost any prowess. That's something I've known about for a very long time, but I just for some reason haven't been using it that often. Definitely gonna be using it from now on. Next up is a Vision Aarkus on Ebb and Flow knockdown, and I'm gonna be using Kitty Pryde here as well. I could have used Tigra here, but I wanted to avoid the need to use potions. Kitty Pryde works just fine here. There's really nothing to worry about. You can face the cold snap damage, and since you have an armor break and a cold snap debuff on you for most of the fight, you just regen up from willpower. The only annoying part about this fight is the power gain on Vision. He's just gonna be spamming specials for the whole fight. But had I been running my recoil masteries and proper boosts, this fight would be over as soon as I got to my special 2. Now that the protection is down and I have the fury from Ebb and Flow, I'm just trying to take him a bit lower before using my special 3 to finish him off. It would have been a clean fight, but I just had to eat his special 2 for no reason. Like I said, I've been playing very bad lately. Next up is a rank 4 Rintrah on the Ebb and Flow knockdown shared fight, and again I'm gonna be using Kitty Pryde here with the white Magneto pre-fight. This is a very simple fight. I use the passive stuns from the white Magneto pre-fight to build up my prowess faster, keep my phasing up, and punish his specials with my heavy to knock him down. That takes away his charges. The spacing for punishing his special 1 with a heavy is fairly simple. Once he starts the animation, you wanna dash back as far away as you can, and when he starts running at you, you dash back once more, and then just throw your heavy. I don't knock him down here, because I want him to get past 10 of his charges, so that he triggers a rupture debuff on me. My plan here is to use that rupture to heal myself up. It's not a lot of healing, but since I'm not using potions and I'm not running my recoil masteries, it's better than nothing. I knock him down again and go for my special 2 to finish him off, but I mess it up and miss the first part of it. That's 3 fights now for this war, and none of them have been clean fights. Maybe I am just bad at this game, who knows at this point. I just hope that I play better when Season 37 starts. I guess I gotta get some practice on battlegrounds when they come back. This time I am gonna do some videos on those as well. Then we have a Nova on Mixmaster, and I'm gonna be taking this with Tigra. I have taken the same fight during the off-season, but I never actually showed it or shared the fight anywhere. It's not really a difficult fight as long as you play the Mixmaster well. You have to remember what attack you used last. I bait and punish his special 1 with my heavy, followed by my special 2. The damage isn't as high as you'd think it would be, since Nova reduces the damage on unblockable attacks by, I believe, 70%. I also did not punish that special 1 with my heavy, since the last basic attack I used had been a heavy attack before. Nova goes down and I don't have to use any potions. Now the next few fights are more of our experiments. I'm gonna be trying to take this Ebony Mojo with Omega Sentinel, starting with the tracking debuff to bypass his miss. So this Ebony Mojo has the defective defense node, so I wanna avoid blocking as much as possible. My plan here is to get the tracking debuff up and keep it paused by finishing my combos with light attacks. The tracking debuff allows me to bypass the miss from his falter debuff, so I should be able to hit him freely whenever I want to. The biggest threat here, as I learned in the previous war, is the fury buffs that Ebony Mojo places on me. When they expire, it triggers Mystic Dispersion, giving him more power. This time I actually manage it well, and the fight goes down without any issues. So I'd say Omega Sentinel is a great counter for this. So I wanted to test out Path 9 in Section 2, the Shock and Bleed node, with Omega Sentinel. And the first opponent here is a red Magneto. So the idea here was that I can bypass the Conduit with my heal block, and I would be regening from the bleed debuffs that Magneto triggers on me. However, I forgot about the fact that the magnetized passive lowers my regen rate by 105%. So basically I can't heal up at all in this fight, and it's gonna be a very long one. I have to avoid hitting Magneto during the shock phase, since Omega Sentinel does take damage from it. During the shock phase I either just dance around or keep hitting into his block to waste time. So yeah, this is gonna be a very long fight, so I'll just speed up the most of it. Now that I've gotten to my special 2, I at least can get some damage going. I trigger the heal block first and then go for my special 2, so that he won't regen back anything from Conduit. And because of the shock phase I couldn't hit him to pause my debuffs. We are back to doing basically no damage. Then I go ahead and fail my light intercept, get hit, and then when Magneto throws his heavy attack I try to punish it after the unstoppable ends, but I mistime it and get hit some more. Then of course I fail another light intercept and drop dead. Yeah, looking those clips in slow motion, it definitely looked like I should have landed that final light intercept, but it's something to do with the hitboxes. Magneto just like takes a step back right as he hits and my light attack just misses completely. One might assume that you could just use a white Magneto pre-fight here and bypass the one eye open node, but they fixed that in the last update. You can no longer bypass it with passive stuns. And then this happens. Yeah, he parried me, and after comboing me I try to go for a light intercept. I miss it, get comboed again. Luckily he did not crit me on any of the last 3 hits, so I didn't drop another death here. Still though, I gotta say there's something wrong with me. Next up is a Toad, and I'm gonna use Omega Sentinel here as well without healing up. Since I don't have a magnetized passive on me here, I can actually use my regen from the bleeds and poisons and heal up on this fight. I did make another mistake here, and I didn't select a pre-fight at the start, so I gotta go for a heavy to switch myself to the heal block phase. This is honestly a really good matchup for Omega Sentinel. The bleeds and poisons keep healing me up, and once I get to my special 2, this Toad is gonna drop like a sack of rocks. The special 2 inflicts up to 5 more plasma or incinerate debuffs based on how many prowess the opponent has. However, we don't even get to see the plasma debuffs here. Toad is just gonna drop from the special 2 alone. Then we have this Longshot here, a shared fight at the end of paths 7, 8 and 9 in section 2. This has the aspect of evolution and feats of power. As with any fight on aspect of evolution, you wanna finish it as fast as you can. The longer the fight goes on, the harder it gets. So the annoying part about Longshot on this node is just the crazy amount of power gain that he has. His awakened ability has a chance to nullify any buffs that trigger on me as soon as they trigger. So whenever I dex, it has a chance to get nullified and Longshot gains a lot of power. That essentially means that Longshot will always have at least 1 bar of power. And with the feats of power and richer nodes, he will be constantly gaining power. I parry Longshot and use my heavy attack to push him to his special 3, after which I dash at him, hoping he would throw the special as soon as he stands up. This time he didn't do that, so I threw my special 3 as a backup option to start up the so-called kitty cycle. Again, I only use this as a backup in this fight. Then I just finish up the fight with my special 2. But again, I cannot stress this enough. Do not rely on the kitty cycle if you don't want to lose an attack bonus unnecessarily. Next up we have this King Groot on the Safeguard mini-boss, and he does have the Conduit global. I'm gonna be using Tigra here, without any boosts to test out just how bad it is. I'm doing this test so that I have a general idea on how long a Conduit fight would take with Tigra. And the answer is very long, but it is still doable. The spacing I use to punish his special one with my heavy attack is to first avoid the 2 punches, throw 2 light attacks, dex, and then throw my heavy. Sometimes you do need to delay your inputs a little bit. It just comes down to practice, really. I have the rest of the fight sped up because this is basically all there is to it. This is the whole fight. There is something I could have done here to speed up the fight that I'm gonna be doing against the Sersi boss, but like I said, I'm doing this to test out how long these fights would take. Conduit really is a very fun and exciting tactic, isn't it? We're almost there, just a little bit more to go. Okay, almost 3 minutes to take down this King Groot. Honestly, not that bad. Then next up is a Mojo on the Incinerate and Poison hazard shift. I will be taking this fight with Kitty Pryde. I am boosted here because I'm taking the Sersi boss straight after. So the idea with this fight is that Kitty is Incinerate immune, and if you try to incinerate her, she ramps up her prowess potency. As for the poison phase, I try to avoid hitting him during that. However, even if I did get poisoned, all I need to do is just keep phasing and I just heal up from them. I try to avoid triggering his prompt as much as I can, but it's basically impossible to avoid all of them. They will trigger at some point. I punished his special too, knowing that I would get the degeneration on me, but now all I need to do is just keep phasing to avoid the degeneration and poison damage. I keep doing medium mat combos even when he has a special ready, since I'll just phase the first hit of his special and I can avoid the rest by dashing back. I tried to avoid hitting him here so that I wouldn't get the degeneration on me while trying to bait his special attack. However, he just did not want to use it. And of course his next prompt was use a special attack, which I couldn't avoid at all. So now I'm going back to just medium light combos to face all of the degeneration damage. At this point my prowess potency was almost at the maximum, so all I need to do is just throw my special 3 to finish the fight. Would have been a lot faster with the recoil masteries, but that was still a clean fight. Then, for the last fight of this war, I have a Sersi boss with Tigra. Now, Sersi has the Conduit global, so you would imagine that this fight would take a long time, just like that King Groot. However, Tigra does have an ace up her sleeve. So, Tigra's special 3 inflicts a Rupture debuff with an infinite duration. that Rupture debuff gets removed and reapplied on every unblockable hit that you deal. With Tigra specials, that's up to 3 hits on her special 2 and both of her special 1 hits. And Tigra's burst damage comes from triggering ruptures while she has her primal sense active. That means that if you use her special 3, the damage on your special 1 and 2 is increased for the rest of the fight. That damage bonus alone is already very helpful, but for some reason it also breaks Conduit. As you can see, my specials are doing way more damage than she is healing. And that's supposed to be 80% regen on any and all damage she takes while the Conduit debuffs are active. So using a special 3 basically removes Conduit. Not completely, but at that point it doesn't really matter at all. And just to clarify, the Rupture with the infinite duration on her special 3 only gets reapplied on unblockable hits. Heavy attacks are not unblockable hits, they are block breaks, so it doesn't increase your heavy damage. So yeah, Conduit is still very much broken. And of course we ended up losing this war by a landslide.